Right. Good evening, everyone. At least those in Malaysia. I will start the session. In consideration of time, we actually have a long session ahead. So before we start, as usual, make sure your name is renamed into with your country and your name. If you need pen and paper to write notes, then you can do so. You can use a tablet if you want. Maybe you guys can share in the chat first that the year is almost over, right? So what is one thing you look forward to end of this year? Vincent and Janet, you guys can. Oh, travel. Yeah, me too. What about you, Janet? What are you looking forward to at the end of this year? Oh, maybe Janet is not here yet. She was here. Where are you planning to go travel to, Jinsan? Oh, you muted. You muted. You muted. Thailand? Oh, that's nice. Where in Thailand? Unmute yourself. You can. If you want. Oh, Patani at Hat Yai. That's so nice. I've only been to where was it? Hat Yai and Krabi, I think, in Thailand. Right. I think Janet goes somewhere. It's okay. We'll just start. So welcome to Global Teacher Conversation. This is our seventh session. So as usual, because we have a very long break before this, almost 1 month. So let's just refresh on what are the GTC pillar principles are. There's only 3 of them, and one is to be respectful. Always keep in mind that we are different in terms of our background, different in terms of how we are raised and what kind of experience in life that we have. So we be mindful of how we speak, how we behave, and how we communicate as well to each other. And we give space and time for our partners to articulate their thoughts, to share what they have been doing. And also, we show interest by asking and answer questions. This is how we show that we are participating. Okay? So we have a few agenda in mind. We have a little bit of a plenary activity followed by a topic introduction tonight. So tonight's topic is about assessment and data management. So we'll do a little bit of a reflection on that, followed by breakout 1, and then we'll do reflection 2 in the breakout 2, and then we'll do reflection 3 and classroom sharing. And then we'll have some time to do closing. Right. So let's do a water cooler talk. Since we have not met in a while, let's catch up on any topic that you'd like to talk. So what's interesting that has happened to you or will be happening to you? I want to hear from you, Jinsan.
Hi, Atika.
Hi.
Yeah, since you mentioned my name, so I unmute myself.
Of course, I need to mention names now.
Sorry, just now I just finished my dinner. That's why.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm trying to, we're trying to accommodate as much as we can. Now is the time for dinner. It's the time for weddings, the time for floods and all that. So,
Yes, you're so
yeah,
right. Especially
yeah.
recently Penang, okay, as you notice from the social media, TikToks or the Facebook, Penang's are having the heavy rain recently,
mm,
so certain area was like having flood. Okay, of course,
mm.
other state as well. So back to
Yeah.
the questions. Okay, regarding the current, the current status, which is which is my college. Okay, soon. Early of December, we are going to have a benchmarking to Patani Technical College. That's why
Ah,
when you asked
uh,
about the first question just now, okay,
uh,
well, what are we look
looking
forward for?
forward to end of
Yes,
the year. So
yes.
it's actually work travel.
Yes, correct. Actually, work
Mm,
travel while enjoying as well. Yeah.
I know the benchmarking is only half a day, but
Why are you so
exploring
smart?
Patani is like 3
Why are you
days.
so smart?
I know. I know all these trips to Jinsan.
Don't reveal the secret. I feel so shy in front of Janet.
I also joined a benchmarking trip when I was in school in
Yeah,
2019. So we had a benchmarking trip to Terengganu, right?
that's nice.
With I went with a group of uh,
Teachers
no, it's actually a group for principals
or principal,
and vice principal. I didn't know why I was assigned
you're
to go.
selected
Yeah, my vice principal couldn't go, and she asked me to go
to, okay.
like a 1 week. So I have like
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's a 1 week benchmarking. So like I said, it's only half a day in one school, and
For
then another
visiting,
half a day, another half a day
shopping.
in another school, another half a day.
Oh
But
my God.
yeah, but I
So,
was gone for 1 week. So I was like, oh, so this is what benchmarking trip.
so
I
kind
was
of the
like,
meaning of benchmarking, huh?
yeah. But I do understand it.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm.
These trips are some people might not be able to make it for these trips on their own, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
they're
they
taking
take,
the chance. You take the chance to also explore.
yes, yes.
But being kind to it.
Yeah,
Putting a kind word to it,
yeah,
yeah.
they are fully, how to say it, optimized.
Yeah, the
This
time,
word.
the
Okay,
time. Yeah, some people will not have the opportunity to like
correct.
travel on their
I
own. Hmm.
Yeah, I still remember the words, okay, or the sentence briefed by the coordinator, the program coordinator. It's a she, okay.
Uh-huh.
Her name is Shaneha, okay. She
Ah.
said, Cikgu, oh, nahabak awal-awal dulu, this program, even though so-called benchmarking, but only we go to 1 day. Someone not only 1 day, just like 2 to 3 hours. The rest was
Yes,
like
I know.
traveling,
Uh,
shopping. To be frank, most of the time is shopping lah, okay. Then
shopping lah.
then I said it's
I
okay.
know.
I understand
Yeah.
because I did join this kind of activities before, no worry. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like so that's why there are a lot of like learning trips, right?
Correct.
Learning trips. So like when I hear learning trips to places like
Ah,
Medan or
yeah.
Padang in Indonesia, I was like,
Oh wow.
directly I was like, that is a shopping trip. It's not a learning trip. Right. I know like oh, so that's why even when I went to Terengganu that time when they stopped by Pasar Payang, right?
Okay.
I just went there and sightseeing. I because I have been to Pasar Payang on my own, so
Oh, really?
I didn't feel like shopping.
Hmm.
So so there's no
Instead of
point.
enjoying the sightseeing.
Yeah. So there's no point for me to actually
Yeah.
go
Someone
there.
not much difference when compare with others. If something very unique, then yes, maybe can consider.
They're
Hmm.
like specialty foods or snacks from
Correct, correct.
Terengganu.
Hmm.
Those are the things that I will look into buying,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
only if like I have nothing better to do.
Yeah, then better just
Yeah,
like we so-called window shopping lah.
yeah.
Mm.
I didn't even go with the others to go
Oh, you.
shopping.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I just okay. What time
Walk
do
alone.
you? Yeah, I just walked alone because I was like, what time are you going to depart from here? Or I'll just take note of that. I'll just go
Mm.
sightseeing around
And
because
showed up on time.
yeah. Earlier than the others, of course.
Sure, you are waiting there already, but somehow they are still not there. Then later on, you
Of
will
course,
look at there are so many pack. Okay.
yes.
Then they
yes.
start to discussing, what did you buy, huh? I did buy
Yes,
this, huh?
yes.
You didn't
Yeah.
buy it,
Yes, yes, yes. It may be also because my style of traveling is not, it's not into shopping
Yeah.
or food that much. I'm more of the kind of like sightseeing, right? And I really like the learning kind of traveling. So like visiting museums or visiting like places. I
Yeah.
remember when we did a trip for Korban in Cambodia when
Yeah.
I was still in university. So we had a trip to this killing field. It's called Killing Field. So like there's skeletons of people who were killed. Yeah, in the during Pol Pot regime. So and we go also to the prison, like the tree that they call it. I don't remember what they call it, but the tree where they kill people, but the tree
Oh.
where the tree is so big that they hang up speakers. So when they kill people, like they turn on very loud music so other people don't know that people are being killed. Yeah, so I like those kind of trips. Yeah. Hi,
Okay.
Anne.
Oh,
Hello.
hi, Anne.
Hi.
It's good to get to have more and more.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. So yeah, what are other things besides your visit, Jinsen?
Actually, before COVID, I think 2000, I think 16 or 17, this Patani Technical College, they did come to my college for benchmarking. Yeah, that's why actually the bonding is over there. Okay, but this round they take this opportunity to visit them. Yeah, as a so-called like exchange, something like that. So beside they are intend to sign so kind of like MOU with them.
All right.
Yeah, since I'm the Lions officer, so that's why
Yeah, you
my
have to go lah.
yeah, that's why my deputy director asked me to go lor.
and hello, Anne.
Yeah, and hi.
Where are you? We cannot see your face. Where are you?
Yeah, where's your pretty face? Show us your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really well yet.
Oh, what's happened, Anne?
I'm still not well.
Oh my God, Anne.
You get cold, is it, Anne?
It's almost a month. I'm not well.
Oh my God.
What's happened? Have
Yeah,
you?
totally. I didn't have voice. I couldn't speak. I couldn't. Yeah. So
You,
Did you take any medicine?
yeah, I was 1 week on antibiotics. Then after that, doctor did not give me the second time.
is it
But
not
still,
COVID?
no, not COVID. Yeah, I checked.
It's just like flu or
Yeah, fever. I was having
fever.
very high fever.
Yeah.
Oh
I think because of the weather.
yeah.
How's in
Yeah,
Sabah and
is a heavy downpour just now.
Our
And
monsoon season has just started, right? So yeah.
That's why need to take really good care.
Forced myself to go to church. I did not go to church for almost a month. Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you for coming in. But
Yeah.
we do want you to take care of yourself anytime that you feel like you need to, back up.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
And don't force yourself. Okay, you have to get more rest.
Yeah.
We do miss you, but we really want you to take care of yourself as well.
And some more next week you're going to play important role.
What is it? What is it? Tell me. What is it that Anne's going to play next
You're
week?
going to play an important role as an Malaysian.
Oh, next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Next
No,
week.
Atika, you also forgot.
I'm not going back to vote.
Then did
so
you
you do the
by
post
sending the
voting?
Hey.
I'm pening kepala already. I seriously very annoyed with everything. So I just keep quiet.
Where's your constituency actually?
Ipoh. Ipoh Barat.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, so
Barat.
happening.
I don't know. Every place is so happening like this year. I don't
Very,
know.
very, very,
I don't
very.
know why every constituent has too many candidates, right?
I
Yeah.
heard one of it is they got 9 candidates, right?
10
10.
in Batu, 10 in
Ah,
Batu, 7 in Sungai Buloh. I think 7 also in my place, Batu Pahat. I'm like,
so
why?
so
Wow.
10 is the highest?
I'm not sure, but I heard 10 is like a lot in Batu,
Yeah,
right?
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, why people like
What's
this
the
year?
point? Yeah.
Okay, exactly. I think
So hard. Yeah.
there's a because there's a division of like a new party, the Pejuang
Correct,
Party, and
correct.
Uh,
also because there are a lot of independent candidates coming in.
independent.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, it's good that they if they win, they can shake up the
Yeah.
frame a bit. But I don't know. For me, as someone who want to vote, it I feel like, oh my god, I gotta study all of you.
Exactly.
That's too much of you.
Atika, maybe you would like to give a quick brief to Janet what is happening in Malaysia.
Yeah.
I hope Janet is listening. If she is, she was in the call talking to me before we start this now. Janet, if you're listening, we are having our general election, our 15th general election next weekend. So we have like a nationwide election. So all of us here are actually getting excited after another 5 years. Yeah, another 5 years to vote. Hi, Janet.
I was thinking that I'm out of this topic. I don't know
It's
what
okay. You
to
can
all of
just
this.
you can. It's a water cooler talk, so you can just jump in whenever you want. So just to let you know, we have this general election every 5 years to choose like the main government for a country. So this year we were like, there's a lot of also information coming in. Wiki Impact also you guys seen Wiki Impact is consolidating manifestos. So like manifesto on education, like what certain parties, what these parties and that parties are like many what are their manifesto when it comes to education. A lot of it, right? Before I tell before I share about what I think about those parties manifesto when it comes to education, right? Because this is closely related to us, right? Maybe you guys, like Dinsan and Anne, want to share first if you guys have seen the manifesto about education. What do you guys think about it?
Okay, thank you for your information. Thanks a lot.
No problem, Jannat. And Jinsan, any thoughts on the education manifesto? Have you seen those?
If not mistaken, I'm not sure who is this fella, but they said once if he managed to get appointed or he win, okay, in this election, then some sort like they will distribute those free tablet, not only to B40, but maybe included the intermediate category as well. Okay, so there's a lot noises from the floor because they say some is not using the tablet, okay, sponsored by the government or Ministry of Education. Instead of they sell it, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I heard about that as well. Another one was yours, you heard tablets. I heard the laptops will be given
Yes,
to
yes,
all
correct.
the penjawat, teachers and
civil officers,
civil,
yeah.
And then there are few I don't know, these are all promises. We don't know what is going to happen.
Yeah, just you raise your hand.
Yeah, I have one more. I feel very ridiculous or maybe humor, which is they say as the civil or Penjawat Awam, okay, if your birthday during that day, you didn't go to work, okay.
No, that's rumors. That's
Rumor,
definitely
oh,
that's
okay.
definitely rumors. And that's so unfair, right? If they want to give public holiday. They should just give across the board. Why I'm saying this, because I'm so frustrated that the federal territories hasn't announced yet that public holidays. But for Penang, right? Penang already said, oh, it's public holiday on the 18th. Selangor also mentioned, yeah.
Negeri
Yeah.
Sembilan as well.
Negeri Sembilan and Selangor as well. So I was like, come on, federal territories. I'm like, I live in Selangor, but I work in KL, so that's frustrating for me. Yeah, because 18 is not, it's not a public holiday, but I have to travel all the way back to Johor to vote. One of the things that strikingly I see across all manifestos of all parties, they mention about 5Gs, they mention about internet at schools, they mention about all this.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this shouldn't have been promised because this is a question of infrastructure. You
Yeah.
don't need to promise this for education if this is already settled with service providers. I mean, even at some places where teachers live, they don't even have G. What are you talking about 5G? They don't even have G, right? So, so this is the inside jokes that we share with the people at my workplace. So a lot of the things that they mentioned, like tablets, of laptops, of 5G, you know, 5G and internet and all that at schools, these are all these are all infrastructure problem.
Yeah.
Which if you settled it outside of if you don't tell it this is about education, because education will get impacted if you solved it outside, right? This needs to be solved first. Anyway, we're getting to we're getting too excited about this. Jannat, maybe you can share with us how general election in Bangladesh in your own experience.
Yeah. You
Sure.
listen.
Thank you. It's almost same. It is a democratic country, and after 5 years of the election, the again election take place. But since 2000, since 2014, same party, Awami League, is in position till now. They're saying about fair election, but there is some debate in the field, and the opposite parties leaders are not in good health. Besides, they have police case and other things are happening in here. But though this government is staying since a long time, there's some development in education system in Bangladesh, and this sector was very much corrupted, mainly primary sector. But this government has done some good in education system. And yes, I can relate our election system with you. There's a lot of promises in the field, but in reality, hardly we can see them. And at present we are concerned about famine, as our government said that 2023 will be the hardest time in century, because there may be famine, there may be
With the
this is
recession,
the
yeah,
thing.
recession as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For this reason, there is some fear, and price hike is also seen in here, because of there is an impact of Ukraine-Russia oil also in here. I don't know what about in your countries. Is there the price of daily commodities is rising high, and it is so much tough to continue job, to continue normal lifestyle in here.
Well, there's one thing I'm curious about the system of your country, right, Janet? Do you guys vote for who becomes the president or prime minister, right? Or is it president?
The prime minister is the prime minister is Sheikh Hasina, And
Uh-huh.
here, this is mainly the rule of prime minister, not the president.
So do you vote for your prime minister or
Yes, we
the
vote for prime
coalition?
minister.
Because in Malaysia we do it a little bit differently. The coalition of the government will choose a suitable candidate that will become our prime minister. So in Malaysia we don't have that election for choosing prime minister or
Okay.
or choosing president like in the US, right? So we don't have that. So when we vote in general election is to vote the party that will lead as the government. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for the water cooler talk. It's so much fun listening to travel plans, to benchmarking trip, to general election. So let's move on to our next agenda. So I've mentioned in the email that tonight we'll be talking about assessment and data management, right? Maybe a little bit heavy if we think about it, but maybe not heavy all as well. Let's think about why we assess students' learning, right? I want to hear from all three of you your thought first. Why we assess students' learning for you? Anyone can go first. Yes, Jinsan.
All right. Okay, so my point of view is first we would like to know whether our student understand the certain topics or not. Okay, so first point is regarding understanding.
Mhm.
Okay, the second thing will be how should I say it? Okay, yeah, maybe still back to understanding. Yeah, that's why assessment from our vocational college we do have two parts. The first one is continuous assessment. Okay, so another one is final exam.
Mhm.
Yeah, so to assess the student, okay, how far they understand, okay, after the lesson. Okay, that's why we got the grading, okay, and so that we could do the CQI, okay, to do the improvement. Yeah, so that's my point. Thank you.
No problem. Jinsan, can I have just one a little bit clarification? Because this is the first time I heard this. What is CQI?
Continue, if I'm not mistaken, what is it? Okay, the continuous quality improvement.
Continuous quality improvement. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jinsan. Okay, who
Okay.
want to go next? Michelle? Michelle. And and or Janet?
Can, no problem. Okay. All right. For assessment base, now, as for now, we no longer have exam. We are no longer in the sense we're open and close inverted commas have exam, because now we are more not into exam orientation. For primary school, we go into PBD, which is Pentaksiran Bilik Darjah, which you call it in English classroom assessment.
Yeah.
So apparently we have more on hands-on, minds-on. So students actually come up with lots of project. It's more on project based, and we try to get them to do what they have learned. So we are assessing them in this way. And apart from that, we do have so-called, as we call it as Pentaksiran, which is assessment, which we do have like exercises. We don't want to call it as exam. We are what our principal have our head mistress have told us not to mention the word exam. So we have to come up with this culture of no exam, so the parents will, because parents are still they still scrutinize, they still ask, they still wonder why we do not have exams, why we are not grading the kids and things like that. Yes, actually we are, but then that's how, back again, we are trying to do it in a different, this is how the direction is given, the directive. So apparently we do have then end of this month, we are going to have like, it's actually, if layman term, is actually exam. It is exam. It's photocopied papers. We set the papers, but we are actually getting them to, we are trying to get them to how to say, to grade them to see whether they have understood what they have studied all this while. If not, students are not going to learn. They are not going to open their textbooks. They are not going to pay attention in class or whatsoever. Where apparently when it comes to activities and hands-on project, they hop, skip, jump, they're excited, they run around, they are so excited. But when it comes to slow down matters, they hardly, so I do always, how to say, like worry. I mean, I do discuss with some teachers, some of my colleagues, what is going to happen to students who are, like my year 6. Well, I mean, in no time, they're going to move on to the, they're going to usher into, the secondary level. And they're going to pull through their culture of not being, serious in your work. And this is going to go on till SPM, and college and so on. So teachers or lecturers, tutors who are going to take over this, they are going to have like, oh my God, what the students actually were, doing all this while. I think college lecturers will know what some of them are really doing, why they are still like, not knowing anything, they can't speak, things like that. So that is why we are trying to keep on doing our PBD, which is we have our band from the level of bands from 1 to 6. So we have a rubric where we follow. So regardless of all the subjects, for English, we have the 4 skills, and then we follow that. And somehow, when it comes to like students who really can't read, we try to come up with different modules just to achieve the target number 3. So that is how we are trying to assess our kids nowadays in primary school.
Thank you, Anne. You have also answered a lot of questions I'm gonna ask you guys to discuss in the breakout session later. But thank you nonetheless. What about you, Jannat? Maybe a brief why assess students' learning. Do you want to share?
Sure, thank you. Okay, the question is why assess students' learning? So the thing is that one line I hear at the starting of my fellowship, that is, there is no bad student, there is some bad teachers. So I really believe this because when some teachers like other normal required normal primary school teacher, not fellow, said that okay, this student is bad. He can do this math. He's bad in English, or he's bad in history, something like that. So by assessing.
Hi, Jannat. We cannot hear you clearly. Sorry. Cannot hear you clearly. Can you repeat what you said just now? We kind of lost you.
Okay. I'm confused from where I should start right now. Okay. By doing assessment of students' learning, we can understand where my student is, whether the method I'm following is working for my student or not. Because students' learning level is not same for all. Some people can understand easily. Some students take time to understand, and there may be some kinesthetic. Some are good at pictorial things. So by assessment, their learning, we can understand whether my method is working or not, or we should follow, or we should change my system. This is one thing, and if we think traditionally, it depends on students' learning, students' achievement. This is also. Thank you.
Thank you, Jannat. So after hearing from all you guys sharing about why we assess students' learning, I also want to share a few points on why we assess students' learning, right? So number one is assessment is an important process in teaching and learning, right? You cannot have teaching and learning without assessment because you would not know how effective your teaching are, and you would not know how much the students have learned if assessment is missing from the picture. And why we assess students' learning is to improve our own instruction. Like Janet say, different kid, different person learns differently, and we need to be able to understand their behavior so we can have our instruction better. This is how differentiation comes into place, right? Because not everyone doesn't come from the same batch. We're not out of factory. We're not factory made. We're human. So because we're human, we're also different, and that's why we need a differentiated ways of instruction to be given. And most importantly, and I think I really like the most why we assess students' learning is actually the main importance of assessment is to facilitate students' learning and also to facilitate their motivation. Because assessment, like Anne said, let's not mention exam if exam is too you know, or over empowering to people. So we can use assessment instead. So it facilitates students learning because they will know where they are at their learning point, and they can also get motivation. Oh, because since I'm at this level, how much more do I need to learn to get to another level, to a great level, right? So this becomes a motivation to both the students and also the teachers. So there are a few types of assessment, right? So you might have heard of diagnostic assessment. This is the type of assessment we do at the beginning of the lesson, before we start any lessons or learning as well. We want to know, this is where we want to know our students' level. What have they know before they come into our class? Right? What is the prior learning or prior knowledge they already have? What can we do with this information that we get from diagnostic assessment? And then we also have formative assessment, the one that Jinsan mentioned about CQI, the continuous quality improvement. Formative is also something that we use inside of the classroom during our teaching and learning. So things like check for understanding, right? Things like worksheets, things like activities in the classroom. So these are formative assessment in which we can directly see what our students is learning, what is their level of understanding directly. And then, of course, we have the summative assessment. This is at the end of the line. So this is where people usually use to measure success, right? Because summative is usually what people will call end of the year exam, the big exam, what's it called, when we use the exam. So summative is a collection of reflection from what the students learn from the very beginning of time to the end. So this is why it's called summative. There are also a few other types of assessment like interim assessment and benchmark assessment. So interim and benchmark sometimes are used interchangeably because interim and benchmark use a lot of students to take part of this assessment. So interim can be participated by the whole school or students from the whole district. Interim can also to make it easier for all of us to imagine what interim assessment look like. So you have summative assessment where you have end of year assessment, right? End of year examination. So interim is like your mid-term or mid-year exam, the small exams before the big final exam. So these are what interims are. Interims is there to check. Oh, so at this checkpoint, right? What have our students mastered? What have our students learned? What have our students understood about what we teach them? And benchmark assessment, as it means, it's to benchmark against a group of students, usually a very big group of students. So to benchmark against each other. So a lot of people use interim and benchmark assessment interchangeably. So some people will use benchmark assessment, some people will say, oh, it's an interim assessment. Because both includes a lot bigger data set. Right. So there are also different categories of assessment, right? There are assessment for learning. These assessments include things like formative assessment. When you check for understanding in class, right? So this is assessment for learning that will assist the students to learn better. Or there are also assessment of learning. So assessment of learning usually associated with summative assessment. So like, what have you learned so far? What have you learned at the end of the year? So this is assessment of learning. But what I want to get your attention on is actually focus more on assessment as learning. How can students use assessment to learn? So I'm interested about the classroom assessment, like Anne brought up just now, right? They do projects, they present, they share with their friends, right? Those are the projects that they do are actually assessment as learning, because they learn as they go when they do the assessment. And assessment as learning also includes things like peer assessment. What we already know is it's always teacher that is assessing the students, but we might also want to explore student assessing another student. Things like peer assessment, things like giving and receiving feedback. So they learn from that. Things like blended learning, where they learn first and then they share with their friends. So assessment, they use assessment as a method for them to learn. So maybe together we can think more as to how assessment for and of learning can be used, and how assessment as learning can be multiplied in how we carry out assessment throughout our teaching and learning. Okay, so without sharing, right? So let's start like 15 minutes open discussion. Number one, on how do you assess your students' learning? Is this practice common across your organization, or is it something that is unique to you, something that you have done on your own for a while? And also let's talk about how effective are the assessment in number one in helping your students learn better, and why do you think so? Number three, what have worked for you? You can share this with others. Let's gather our thoughts, maybe 2 minutes before we start our 15 minutes discussion. All right, 2 minutes is up. Any one of you can start and get the ball rolling. Let's discuss on these 3 points. You guys have 15 minutes, yeah?
Seems our lady is so quiet, then maybe I would like to take the initiative first. Please allow me. Thank you, Atika. All right, so to answer to the first question, how do you access your students' learning? So basically, I will access my student learning through gamification. Okay, so as usual, like Kahoot, Quizy, okay, and some others new tools that recommended by our friends or our peers as well. Because okay, as we know that now the trend is more to the digitalize, okay, and gamifications. I do not deny that those the hard copy, okay, or the writing, yes, it did, okay, but when come to the class session, definitely this so-called like the live pace, okay, together with the instructor, it will even bring the excitement to the students, and of course the engagement together with the student as well, okay, especially during the afternoon session class. Yeah, so common across the organization. I think nowadays is very common, okay. But for my own college, I don't think all the teachers are applying the same method, okay, because we believe that traditional method, they do have their own way, okay, for succeed or achieve the objective. Okay, so for my point of view, I would just like to try new things with my students, let them explore, and when the time you look at their faces, wow, okay, teacher, what is this? Teacher, nice. So you could feel they are so excited to enjoy those assessment or so-called games, okay? But at the same time, we could achieve our objective as well, okay? Oh, sorry, I couldn't see the slide. Okay, thank you so much. So is it unique to me? If the tools is the first time that I apply in the class, then it will be definitely will be unique. But I will try. I keep this concept, which is practice make perfect. Okay, so I will try keep on practice it and apply it to my students. I even share with my friends as well. I very proud. Okay, some sort like show off. I say, hey, have you tried this application or tools? I feel so happening. I even shoot the the scenario. Okay, I shoot a little bit. Okay, as a proof. Okay, or evidence for future usage. I say, hey, very good leh. This one you can try. Okay, this my I'm having a good intention. Okay, by promoting this so-called tools to my friends. Okay, I continue for another two questions. Yeah, if okay. Okay, thanks. So how effective? Okay, so based on my first questions, okay, definitely yes. Okay, from there, it even save our time. Okay, for teacher, we don't have to analyze by our own. But all these advanced tools, okay, no matter Kahoot, Quizy, all everything you can glance at uh one click or once just like how should I say it? You just look at it and you know that, oh, okay, this is the most popular question that make mistake by our students. Okay, this is the student miss it. Okay, or whatsoever. Okay, so everything now was so junky, so advanced. Okay, until you feel so wow, why didn't know about these tools? If I know, I will bring this as one of the assessment tool. It will so ease the teacher task. Yeah. So why do I think so? I think I answered it uh indirectly. The third question, I'm a little bit confused. Okay, Atika, maybe you could briefly explain for me.
Uh, so all the assessment that you have done so far, right? You
Mm-mm,
mentioned you are leaning towards more e-assessment, digital assessment through gamification.
correct.
So what have worked for you? So number two, the question number two is how effective is instrument in helping your students learn better
Mm,
for
mm,
your students. So number
mm.
three is what have worked for you. So that you also have mentioned that it makes your work easier to see
Yeah,
data
yeah.
in a glance. So it
Mm,
makes you very happy because it decrease your workload because everything is online, right?
Yeah, correct.
And you don't need to think about rubrics and all that. You only
Yes,
need to
correct,
look at
correct.
the data. So that is what have worked for you in using this kind of assessment.
I see.
Yeah. Okay.
I got another 2 points for add in for the number 3 questions.
Sure. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So the first thing is it will definitely will become one of the banks or land. Okay. So how should I translate it? Assessment bank? Maybe. All right.
Question banks. Yeah.
Question bank. Thank you so
Resource
much.
bank. Yeah.
Some sort like resource bank, because you know, somehow teachers, we need to save time. We could straight away search similar or related questions that already developed or prepared by other teachers, okay, but in the same subject. But for us, maybe some subject or the title or topic a little bit rare, okay, so we might prepare it this year, but maybe next round we can straight away, by using this so-called the gamification, we may just log in and search back. So those question bank is there. So we may reuse, even recycle as well. Okay. And the final part will be definitely self-reflections. Okay. As what Anne very keen, so popular indeed, the action research. So I think assessment will part of it. Okay. So by having this kind of assessment, we will not only know that how far our student understand it, and understanding regarding the knowledge, skills, okay, about the topic that we taught then, but it could be a very good reflect to ourselves as well. Okay, after our teaching, okay, did our student understand? Okay, they don't understand because they what is it? Okay, is it my teaching method got problem? I need to change it. Okay, as we understand now a new terms, which is differentiated learning. Yeah, do I need to break it down from a very low level, intermediate, or a very difficult one? Is it I need to do until that extent? So assessment will definitely play a very, very important role for us, okay, which give a good reflect to us. If through assessment, everything is so good, then we have to think how should we sustain, how should we keep it, okay, until the final exam or until they could fully utilize this knowledge in their living life. Okay, if not good, then what's next? Okay, so it will come to the action research. So that part I will leave to Anne. So Anne will be our expert in action research. Okay, so I think that's all from me. So I couldn't wait to hear more from Anne and Janet as well. So hand over to Atika. Thank you.
You guys can continue. You don't need to hand over back to me. So any one of you, either Anne or Jannat, and you continue and share your thoughts and experiences for this point number 1 to 3.
Get used with the flow.
Maybe Jenna, if you like to go first. Then I will.
Yeah. Go ahead. Anne.
All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for blowing me up, blowing the trumpet there. Jinson. Okay. Anyway, it's actually I'm in the process of learning, and how to assess my the student learning. Yes, as what I said, the school the classroom assessment, which is called as PBD, Petaksiran Bilik Darjah. And it's actually, yes, it's common, like all schools in Malaysia. We conduct this from primary 1 to 6. And what happens here is every subjects, they have their respective rubrics, and whereby as what I mentioned, the teachers will follow the rubrics as in wish to assess the students' potential. Some students are, if they are still in tahap penguasaan, the level of acquiring in level 1, if they are still in level 2, probably not level 1. That means they can't even read and write. If they are in level 2, probably they can push, they can make somehow, I mean, to make them to level them up to, they call it TP3. So what actually the KPM has come across is every district we are encouraged to use the CUP. They call it the CUP is a level up program where to do special interventions for students who cannot achieve the rubric. I mean, the level TP3. So they call it tahap penguasaan. So that if they couldn't achieve that level, so we will make all ways to make them achieve it. And as in when that it could not be the same as other students. So it actually varies. So that actually take place when the students have problem, or the particular class or the students in that school have a problem. So interventions like this actually help the student to level up. So every time, I think two months once, we are asked to, since I am the coordinator for this penyelaras, they call it penyelaras PBD. So I have to collect all this data and put it in a template and send it to the district office. So we have it online. So first of all, we key in all the subjects. So what we usually do is we'll have our dialogue session. So in school, and the principal and all the senior assistants, we will sit and we will discuss how to come, which students have, since we are in, I mean, it's a small school, so we can actually scrutinize which class and which students and which subject they are weak in. And then we do interventions, simple interventions, simple modules. So we bring the student out, and then we try to make them just do drilling. If they are in year 1, in year 2, usually we have problems with the primary 1, 2, 3. Some students who actually just came in, we had about 3 students who actually did not attend preschool. And they actually, I don't know, I think their parents are one Malaysian and one not Malaysian. So we have this in Sabah. So that's why students who come in and they're still having problem in even Malay language, they can't even speak properly. And then mathematics and the first main subjects, the maths, especially maths, Malay language and English. So that's how we prepare simple interventions to get them to assess them in simple way. Previously, we had Linus. Linus is actually for students for Malay language and English. Now, since Linus is no longer, it's a form of assessment for reading and speaking. So for mathematics, Malay language and English. So now since there's no longer in practice, so we, like for me, I still do it some kind like Linus. What is Linus is actually constructs a 12 construct module where we drill the student in order to get them to understand how to, especially the year 1, how to write, how to, the penmanship and things like that. So we keep on drilling them. Somehow they, to a certain extent, maybe in 2 weeks, they would achieve. Like in my year 1 class, I teach year 1 and then year 6. So it's a difficult task for me to go really down and really go up for my year 6, I have to talk really up. And then with my year 1, and then you have to, like, they will be very, they will be, sitting on my lap, sometimes, they are so cute, they call it manja. They love to, cuddle. Sometimes they come and hug you, So the other day, I thought I just teaching them just to copy. So that is one form of assessment. After that, after 2-3 days, I'll assess the same sentence again. I assess that by giving them a piece of paper again with lines here and there, and then they'll move the paper here and there just to make them a bit different. You just give them a paper, they will see, so they want to see, students want to see something different. It can be a paper, but we can just make them as triangular shape, just to move their mind differently. So that's how I make them to, somehow to participate in certain, but I assess them. It's actually an assessment. But once I did the same thing, spelling, I gave 3 days just for them to copy and play the words. The fourth day, they actually have to go around and see what is the word. I will just put that cupboard, but it will be BOCU, different. It's all jumbled. So they have to write and then they have to think. And they run here because I stick them everywhere. So this is one way of assessment. So, and then they at the same time they enjoy themselves because it's kinesthetic. They are running around. So that's one part of it. For my level 2, what I do usually, I will do cross curriculum. Since I'm also teaching art, I actually have done a PBL, a project-based learning with English and art together, across curriculum, whereby they actually have to come up with their own conversation. It's actually in the textbook, but I improvise them and ask them to come up with their own words, with their own, giving them the topics. For instance, I did that, at the airport, at the post office. So different students had different topic. And what they did, one student, what he did, he actually did puppetry. They came up with their own. So I want them to think beyond what. So one student, he was very creative. He did, since they are all in the village area, so one boy, he did puppetry, but he did wayang kulit in Kelantan. They actually practice this. They call it the shadow dancing puppets. If Janet don't know, they call it as wayang kulit. So he was so creative. He was doing a conversation with this wayang kulit. So at the same time, I make sure the sentence is correct, and I make sure that whatever the language forms is correct. So all this is scrutinized, and I assess them. So as what happened in class, not only reading and writing, we also assess this for speaking, listening and speaking. So this happens as and when in different, of different days. So that's how assessment takes place. Eventually, the assessment for what I mentioned, the PBD, we actually do it every day. So the assessment, my head mistress want it to be done actually every day. Somehow, maybe we do it, maybe very simple, maybe just comprehension, we still assess them. So assessment is done every day. So I don't know whether that's enough. So I find that it actually came up to a certain extent, achievement. I've achieved a certain point where students actually improve. However, there are still few of them who still did not achieve to the level yet, not yet. But 2 days ago, this boy who can't read, my year 1 student, cannot read and he's always neglected because he's very notorious student. So I took up this challenge, and I said, I told him, if you manage to read this phonics is actually of a fat cat sat on a mat. You know this one. I just repeatedly, and he always mornings when he comes early, he comes and asks the teacher, where is the file? Saya mau baca. I want to read. So what I did, since I saw him, he was so active, and I purposely last assembly, I asked him to read, in front of so many people, and I gave him a token of appreciation, and he was so happy, and he's asking me, teacher, ada lagi? He asking me, is there anything else that I want to learn? I want to read. So now he and all the teachers were so surprised to know that this boy, who is memang, they said, is always a no, cannot, and he's always naughty, and he cannot be controlled. And I don't know what you did to him. And I said nothing else, but I just gave love, and because he's from a broken family. So when he got this, and he was so happy, he was holding the paper bag and looking 101 times with the the color pencil and the note, the small notebook. He was looking at it every time until he went back home. He was looking at it, he was holding it. So and I saw that he's improving. At the same time, I mean, the token could be small, but what I mean is, every time we assess a student, when they see an achievement, they want to try more, especially the younger ones. Yeah. Yes.
Right, thank you,
Thank
Ed.
you.
That's such a lovely story. I think everyone, because we always say education is a right, right? It's not a privilege. It's not. It's a right for everyone. But when it comes to people, when there's a lot of people, there's always someone who gets left behind. There's always someone, either because, well, we cannot handle them, or because they have they refuse to learn at the beginning. But I'm always how to say this, I never lose hope in the world of education, just yet, because there are teachers like you and who never give up on anyone, who never give up on any kid, to make sure that they are not left behind, no matter what kind of kid they are. Well, they're just kids, right? So they're supposed to be acting like kids, and some kids are just like that. And I'm so proud of you, to persevere and to give this kid a different point of view when it comes to learning to read. So, Ross, very good job, Ed. Let's hear from Jannat, on number 1, 2, and 3 on this topic. Jannat, your turn.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
I tried to put on my video, but I think if I put on my video,
Yeah, no problem. No problem. You can continue with your audio. Yes, Jason.
Let's start. Thank you so much from Michael. I taught in level 4. When I enter in the level 4, that means I have to teach them. That means I have to teach them Bengali, English, mathematics, science, and social science. all the things. So the thing is that it varies how like that every day we had a exit ticket. Exit ticket means a daily assessment after every lesson. It represents how they understand my topic, whether they understand my topic or not, whether I should again repeat the topic, or I'm okay with this method of teaching. So this is one kind of exit ticket, and there is another TAB, Teach for Bangladesh assessment, and also there is annual examination. Besides those, I usually practice another kind of assessment after 2 days or 3 days in each week. Like in mathematics, okay, like there are several groups, because one more thing, that is that my classroom size was so much big. I had to provide teaching at a time 104 students. So the classroom size was so much large that time, to attract their attention, grab their attention, I have to put them in group. For the whole day they were in group. So like I do assessments, I make a competition between 2 or 3 groups. Group 1 will provide question to group B, and group B will provide question to A. So like they will also exercise how to do question, and after they also read very properly for this. They also try to understand. And there is also creative question part. If anyone do any creative question, he will get extra 1 mark, this type of things. And there is also marking system. This marking system is not done by me. This is also done by another group. So yes, is this practice common across the organization, or is it unique to you? No, this is not the common across, but where the classroom size is large, then we use this practice. Because in large classroom, it is so much tough for us to arrange seating arrangement and to grab their attention. And you will be surprised to know that in Bangladesh, the sitting there is not enough benches for my students. And sometimes if 140 students come, then 4 or 5 students have to stand up for the whole time. Then I leave my chair, or I take another bench from another classroom to arrange the seating arrangement. So how effective are the assessment in helping the students learn better? Yes, it was very much effective, because they are in competition mood. They want to do much more better than another. And yes, they want to learn something new, because they think that it is so much interesting. Yes, I have to learn this because I have to understand this, because I have to make question like teacher. Why do you think so? Because I don't have any alternative option. Because believe it or not, I tried a lot to grab attention and to give while I will take assessment. I tried to give individual assessment, not group wise assessment. But I think it is so much challenging for me, and it is more joyful for them. There is also joyful act and team building activities also working there while they work in group. What have worked for me, you share with others. Okay. Their learning, their activities, their curiosity push me to come forward. And you know what, I was really surprised to see that how creative they are in making question besides answering those. And you know what, it is so much challenging while you will make question. We teachers know how much challenging it is, how many types of question, how creative, how they push themselves. And in while I do listening competition, then two from two group will come. They will conversation with one another. That was like listening. While I will do reading assessment, then one group will give another group a para. Okay, read this line to this line in English. They have to do this. So these kind of things I really followed besides the traditional assessment process, like giving questions and answers. I think this helped me a lot. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jannat. That's very insightful. So I just want to recap a few things, and also based on my own reflection from what you guys have shared so far from these 3 points alone, right? So Jason talked about how he utilizes digital tools, especially in gamification for his students, that it makes things easier in terms of seeing data in a glance, seeing that everything is automated for you, the rubrics is already there, you don't need to come up with the mechanics of it, and how it is easy to reuse in the future. It is easy to search if you want to use it again, or other people want to use it again, which I also agree. It makes all these tools actually make our life as a teacher a little bit easier. And when Anne talked about how her students did go to preschool, and that they have difficulty in learning when they go into primary 1 and 2, and it gets me thinking, right? And this is something maybe we can all think about together. For primary 1 and 2 and 3, right? There are a lot of students who might have missed preschool. There are a lot of students who might come from a very big family, or parents who are not really well in terms of literacy themselves, that they cannot teach their own kid before their kids get to school. That got me thinking, right? What is the most important thing that we need to focus on for kids as early and as young as 7 to 9 years old? What kind of competency that they should have, that they should master first before we sort of equip them with all the knowledge, with all the skills in the world? And I've always think of literacy is something very important to put, like Anne mentioned, penmanship, like writing, reading, calculating, numeracy is very, very important. And you need to master that first before you can go on, because obviously you need to be able to read if you're going to learn science, right? You need to learn history and all that after you go into primary 4, 5, 6, right? And then there's also too many students, 140 students in one class, in Janet's class, and it's also too many assessments, like and mentioned of doing assessment every day. How do we cope with that? And I was really interested about making the students feel competitive, and even though there are a lot of students, they make questions, so they become the teacher. This is what I talked about earlier, when assessment becomes a learning, so assessment as learning itself, right? So let's move on to our next discussion. So all these assessments that we do, right, there must be some sort of data management to it. All of this assessment will not be very helpful to us if we don't manage them properly, and if we don't record them properly, and if we are not able to put them in a way that we can use them, then it will be useless to have all the data, to have all the records of assessment. You can do all the assessments in the world, you can do assessment every day, every time, but if the data from the assessment is not managed properly, then it will not be effective in helping teaching and learning, right? So let's go through some of the points that we want to further discuss together. Number one, maybe you can share about how you or your organization manage data on students' assessment at the moment. Like, and classroom assessment at the moment. Is it just fall on her, or is it a collaborative effort with the teachers? How she's doing it? She mentions it's online, but maybe you can share later and as to how a little bit more detail as to how your school is doing this. And then based on your organization data management, is it working to you and your students' advantage? Do you think it's working for you and your students? Why do you think so? And then we also have the talk about personalized versus centralized assessment, right? There were talks in Malaysia sometimes about schools, teachers in school should not have to think about making assessment or exam questions all the time. This should be centralized, like we only take questions from a centralized system. So personalized, what I mean personalized means we're talking about schools having autonomy, right? Schools having the authority to assess students' learning. So personalized mean, like right now, the teachers of each school do their own assessment, their own exam questions, versus a centralized assessment. That means this comes from a central, from maybe the ministry. So have you had any experience for these two types of assessments? And what is your thoughts on this? So I'll give you guys maybe 2 minutes to just think this through and put on some notes. I'll put down some notes and we will do like a 15 to 20 minutes discussion on this. Okay. All right, 2 minutes up. I'll start the clock on 15 minutes. Any one of you can start first. Maybe Anne or Janet can start first.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Atika. I'll go first. Okay. Share about how we your organization manage data on students' assessment. At the moment, what we do is we have a template. We have an offline template for the one which we do the ERPH, which is online lesson plan. We come up with our own customized template where we key in all the scores. I mean, like band 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means according to each student's name, and then we key in for, like for me, I put listening, speaking, reading, writing, and then for Monday, okay, that means after my lesson, I will like do a reflection and see, okay, let's say Harith, did he able to answer my question for speaking? So I analyze, I assess on that basis. So we key it on the template, on what you call that, Excel format. It's a offline, and then that's how we key in lah. So on the other hand, for the assessment, the collective assessments, all teachers have to come up with their collective. Let's say they want January assessment, so they will take the one of the January. That means the assessment. Let's say, like for me, I will take the like the how to say, the collective one, like for listening, speaking, reading, writing, and then we will see. Let's say the student A, he achieved 3 for speaking, 4 for listening, and 4 for writing, and 4 for what you call that, reading, writing, speaking. Okay, so writing. So the end of the achievement will be 4. So I gauge that way, and we all gauge that way as well. If we key in on a template which is already like they have already programmed, it will actually show the end, what you call that, achievement. It will actually recalculate by itself. So it will show that which one is which appears the most. It will appear that as the final achievement. Like if it's 4, 4, 4, so it will become 4, like that. So we gauge that way. So the final assessment will be actually keyed in on a Google form and send it to online on a portal to the person in charge in the education office. So the second one, is it working to you and your students? Yes, it is an advantage, because as and when we have already gelled into this system already. So we actually started it. When we were starting it, it was quite challenging, but now, yes, it's improving. However, there are shortfalls in between. So, but still we are struggling to come up and to achieve, especially when the student cannot achieve to the target. So we come up, I like the teachers will stop and they will try to do some module, reading module, like I've seen the Malay language teacher. They come up with small, very simple modules, and they photocopy, and they will pull out the student, and they will be doing that just to achieve the student to that level. So yes, it's an advantage, and have achieved. And the last one is personalized or centralized. Personalized, yes, we come up with our own way of assessing students. Like for instance, like Janet also have shared that sometimes we have the with among the peers, they assess their own, like let's say like a couple of weeks ago, I did the student, they actually come up with their own tune with I'll ask them to write words, and like they come up with words how to with the example given in the textbook. It's actually on songwriting. So they come up with their own words. Like for instance, they are writing about what you call that, the field. So they come up with all the things on the field, what you can see in the field. They can see, sometimes they can see, okay, sometimes I bilingual it, okay, apa kamu nampak di luar sana? Okay, I ask them what is you see out there. Sometimes they say they see pineapple, okay, whatever they see on the field. They see trees, they see this, that. So I ask them to come out, and then they come up with their own tune. Sometimes they come up with some Michael Jackson tune, and then they sing that way. So I mean, and then I ask them to come in front. They do it in pair, or sometimes they do it in a group. So other groups will assess, okay, how much what grade we can get. What is okay from 1 to 10? Okay, what I mean, how can we gauge them? And then they'll say, oh, no, they cannot even get 5. Oh, sorry, no, they can't even get, no, this is less than 5. Sorry. So I mean, so at the same time they are like having fun, and that is like personalized. Centralized is what the education office expected us to do, the assessment, and the experience is, how to say, being a coordinator. Sometimes some teachers are very slow, so have to have to go on with it and have to push them. So sometimes because we have so many other things to do, so that's a challenge as well. So finally, what I should say is personalized and centralized assessments are actually good, regardless of how we carry it on.
All right. Thank you for sharing your experience and your thought process when it comes to data management. And perhaps we can listen from Janet next. Janet, you ready to share?
I need some time. Please, can I share later?
No problem.
It's not about the person. It's about the my baby is gets hurt, so I have to take care of him for 5 minutes. Please.
Yeah, no worries,
allow
no
me.
worries. Go ahead. Jinsan, you wanna take the focus?
All right. Sorry, just now halfway go to take my adapter. Okay, short of battery.
No problem.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Well, I get to know more from your school, huh? Okay. So basically, how me myself or my college manage the data. As I shared just now, first for me myself, I will use the gamification system. Okay, because everything is auto. Okay, by default system. Okay, but for my organization, we do have a system. We call it adopt system. Actually, is standardized for the whole Malaysia, especially for those teacher in college vocational. Okay, so it's so called like a complete courses evaluation. We got all those information of the course, what is the course learning outcome, who is the teachers, okay, attendance, okay, and then starting with the continuous assessment, because we are like a semester system, so the breakdown is 70-30. 70% is for the continuous assessment, okay, so some sort like tests, quiz, assignment, presentations, so all those are 70%, whereas the final exam will fall under 30%. Yeah, so once everything is done, evaluated, then we will key in the system, then we will pass to the coordinator for the exam, then they will during the academic meeting, okay, then the coordinator will present to all the like the top management to verify the data and the marks as well. Okay, So the second thing is it work to you and your student advantage? So to me myself, definitely yes. Okay, by having the so-called the adopt system, okay, it will so clear, okay, by at one glance, okay, we will know that okay, I start with continuous assessment first. Okay, for KV, our intention is the name also continuous assessment. If our student didn't achieve the objective or didn't master the knowledge, we can give them to keep on repeat until they master it. Okay, that's why they named it continuous assessment. But whereas come to the final exam, okay, depends the situation, because nowadays they do have the pentak siaran akhir khas since the COVID, yeah, okay, COVID 19. So they do have the online exam, some sort like that. So if let's say the student fail, meaning to say they scored below than 40, okay, so the student are allowed to repeat once, okay, but definitely there are some requirement, okay, the highest only for the student is 60 marks, okay. So they have some adjustment. Okay, so for my student advantage, I think the teachers are having a very big heart, very good intention. We try to help our students, okay, in terms of the continuous assessment. So we will say, hey boy or a girl, come, okay, your test, your assignment, okay, not achieve the, you haven't passed the borderline, okay, so please redo it. Okay, I will give you some guidance until you meet the requirement or meet the minimum criteria, huh? So for them, they will sure will very happy, okay, smiling face, because they know that no matter how bad am I, my teachers is going to guide me and help me and make sure I score. Okay, I mean like minimum pass. Yeah, okay. It will, from my perspective, okay, got two of point of view. The first thing is, okay. The first thing is, okay, we it helped us when come to the PPP, okay, it's some sort of the final for the teachers KPI, okay, we to jot down how many percentage of the students score A minus, some sort like that. Okay. Second thing is our bosses, okay, will say, okay, good job, okay. If didn't pass, sure, they will like, no, 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 okay, why you didn't help your student? Okay, you cannot tolong me, you cannot help me. So difficult to help them to pass me. So sorry, to Janet, okay, I reveal a little bit secret, okay, internal. Maybe and you may share more, okay, because I'm not so sure about secondary school, okay, or primary school, maybe a different situation, okay. Yeah, from our perspective, college vocational, they are so very frank, very direct. They will name it. They will say, you as their teacher, couldn't you help? Okay, because later on during the I'm just very open, okay, don't mad at me, because they as the principal, they do have the meeting, so-called the monthly meeting with those big boss. Then they have a lot of the KPI, everything was shown on the screen. The big boss was started to question, these are the top 10, okay, schools, okay, that achieve the achievement or some sort of the objective. At the same time, after showing the top 10, they will show another top 10 which from the bottom. Okay, so these are the schools who didn't achieve the target. So many failures, so many fail, okay, so many gagal. Okay, so okay, reason, what is the justification? So the bosses will so when they come back from the meeting, sure, they will call all the teachers, and especially those particular subject, please ask that particular teacher. For example, teacher Jin Sang, come, why you didn't help your student, why didn't achieve so and so. Okay, so for my point of view, advantages sure go to the student. Okay, but how true is the mark? Just now I heard Anne say band 1 until band 6. Okay, but when come to enrollment to our KV, right, after Form 3, when we look at the result, oh wow, band 5, oh wow, band 6, of course, in terms on the paper, good. when it comes to interaction, simple mathematics, communication. Oh, okay, I know. Okay, so a lot of the feedback to us, yeah. So what is the current situations? Okay, the third one, personalized and centralized. Okay, so for me myself during my own lesson, okay, of course we will create a personalized assessment, okay, based on our student needs and our teachers needs as well, okay, and especially to tally back our our teaching plan, okay. Okay, and then whereas the centralized, okay, centralized, I would like to highlight over here for our own, for my Penang zone, we will I think since 2 years back, I come up an initiative. I say instead my own KV just we do respectively. Why not we make it collaborative with all the KV in Penang? I said because the same subject, right? Okay, why don't you do your own? I do my own. Why not we collaborate? Okay, we distribute the task, which reduce burden, and we could share the materials. Okay, so is everyone, okay, isn't it? Okay, and some more will take the initiative and will bring those instruments to web by those expert, okay, from tertiary, maybe UITM or any university, because this we need to get the accreditation, right? So this the assessment is part of it. Okay, so and you see how crazy in KV, even though the assessment for internal we need to do this sort of thing. Okay, so I think it's good because we don't have to big head. Oh my god, I need every semester I need to come up my own assessment. Okay, instead of that, why not we collaborate with all the teachers, okay, and we do it. I think by having this kind of approach, they all are so happy because reduce work ma. Okay, yeah, so they are so happy to do that. Okay, so I think this from my side. So maybe you would like to hear more from you, Janet.
Maybe she's not back yet, but attending to the sun. But I'd like to just to few things that you guys have shared just now, right? Um, in terms of there's a lot of like different responses when they talk about having a centralized summative assessment for schools surface situation. Like a lot of people like cheer. There's a one side that cheer for it, but say, oh, now I don't have to do assessment. But also another side that isn't assessment part and parcel of what teacher needs to be doing, right? It doesn't mean that you don't need to do assessment at all. It just means that one big final summative assessment is done elsewhere, which also makes me think in terms of fair distribution of competencies, right? When we talk about schools knows best, or teachers knows best, what is the competency levels of their kids, right? Their students. If we have the centralized assessment, does the different abilities in students have been taken consideration for? Like how much percentage in this assessment is favoring one group of competencies compared to the other group of competencies? This is what we talk about every year for SPM, like, oh, this year is too difficult, or that year it's too easy for everyone. How do we balance this in a way? And like you said, Jensen, kids come from a lot of schools coming from like very good band, like very high band, but it turns out that they're not exactly reflecting those bands when they go through KVs. Also trying to balance between having our kids represented in the right competency, but also making sure that the integrity of us doing the assessment is also there. I mean, if you're not at that level, you're not at that level. You're not supposed to be at band 6 if you're not at band 6, right? No, these are the things. I'm just throwing this out there so that we can all think about this. think about the pros and cons of each side, right? And but I really like the part where when it centralized, it's not it's not the ministry or it's not the jabatan or department that do this, but instead another teacher that do this. So a teacher from another KB, another college do this. So this is more like a collaborative effort rather than, because then it will be your turn, right, Vincent, to do question later after your friends have done it. So it also turns into a very good synergy in terms of collaboration in a way. And we can look into, oh, so that college, what are the levels of their students are at if they're producing such assessment, right? So yeah, I also, I'm also taken by the fact that you mentioned there's the monthly meeting, whereas the top 10 is displayed and the bottom 10 are displayed as well. I wonder then, is there any learning has been shared between the directors? Oh, we are from, let's hear from the top 10 colleges. What have they done differently so that they can help other colleges as well? So instead of just showing top 10, bottom 10, what can be different? Perhaps they do this. I don't know. You tell me if this happens later. Maybe this is something that you can ask them, Jinsan.
A very alarming questions to me,
Mm.
okay, to reflect on this matter. Okay,
Mm.
so somehow it's very cruel because they
Mm.
compete with each other, and this is a very a truth. Okay, I
Mm.
think it's not only for KB but even the normal school as well. Okay, yeah, that's why.
I come from Emerson, so
Mm,
I know what that culture
yeah,
is like.
I think all the institution, no matter
Mm.
KV, normal school, MRSM, and matriculacy as well.
Mm.
That's why the Ministry of Education, they appointed or they granted certain school as Sekolah Cemerlang or Sekolah
Yeah.
Cluster and so right.
Yeah.
Okay, I look at in the two ways that okay. Because of this kind of competitive, I think it's very good. In terms of positive, okay, it gives the how should I say it? Okay, it gives the momentum to the management and even the teachers, okay, to try to strive their best, okay, to achieve certain objective. And then if they, let's say they achieve, then they try another level, another stage, and it getting more and more. Another side is they might see like, okay, why I need to compete with you? Okay, I just do my own job, get my salary, then that's it. Okay, on 8 to, and once the time is they reach, then I dump out. That's all. So different kind of the point of view. So it's fine. Okay, depends on what are you choosing. Okay, back to your questions. Okay, did they, for those top 10 or very well performed, did they share their any best practice
Learnings, yeah.
or learnings, okay, during the meeting? I'm not so sure, okay, because normally they just showed the result, isn't it? They just emphasize on the result instead of the process. But when come to the learning progress, normally they will break into webinar or the sharing session. Yeah, this will be, they separate it. That's why we do have this kind of online webinar sharing the best practice by the pengetua cemerlang, I mean the best principals or the best school or so and so. Okay, or they might send those particular coordinator, maybe the principal, maybe the deputy, or even the teachers as well, to go this kind of workshop.
Benchmark workshop.
Yes, either just the benchmark, so-called like makan jalan-jalan. I mean like how should I say it? The social receipt benchmark,
All right.
or the really exactly the real workshop, meaning that they really got asked the speakers, okay, come and deliver talk, okay, hands on, yeah. So I do believe yes, okay, but they will make it separately, yeah.
Because I think it will be very beneficial to everybody. I mean, also including in the one in the top 10 themselves, right? Learning from other colleges, how other colleges have done it, things like the tried and tested method, right? So other people can also um, reflect on what they do and try other people's strategy. That would be very good. Also to sort of reset, when I fix this topic, right, I have this thought on how we are very competitive in terms of ranking ranking per se, right? We always want to do like, oh, the top and not the bottom, and things like that. Like you said, it's a one way to get people motivated to have these rankings shown, but also can make other people demotivated, and they don't want to be, they don't get driven to actually improve. Um, also makes me think like, what is that's why the first question I asked everyone just now when we start this session is, why do we assess students, right? Why? What is the point of assessing our students? And what I said about the most important thing about assessing students is to facilitate students' learning and to give motivation to students. Sometimes rankings, sometimes reputation of the schools, or sometimes reputation of colleges sort of take away our focus, that is to facilitate students' learning and encourage students' motivation. Sometimes it becomes because it brings prestige to the school, so we need to up our ante. So we need to up our performance in schools and things like that. This might be something so far off to think about, but this is a good practice. This is a good exercise to think, because I believe in our life, either you guys could be the future leaders of your organization, or you guys could be associated with future leaders in your association. And it will be good to have someone as a sounding board to get them refocus on what is actually important when it comes to assessment and data management, right? Yes, Jannah, you're ready. Okay, let's hear from you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Just I will share shortly about how my organization manage data on students assessment. Okay. We actually followed a Google spreadsheet, Google Excel sheet, and there was some formulas in there. So if we put that number, there are auto calculation about percentage, about the improvement than previous results, this type of thing. And I personally did what? That is my group number. I also also I tracked by this according to this way. I actually I copied the Teach for Bangladesh Google sheet, Google Excel sheet, and then I opened this from my Gmail account, Google Excel sheet, and I copied I copied the formulas, and thus I actually manage my data. And yes, that was so much easy to calculate the data, to understand the progress and understand the areas where I should work. That was so much clear, and I could easily understand each and everyone's individual performance. And yes, it worked my students, and it was so much advantage because its formula and how much it was developed is so much. Just you will, I don't know whether I can make you understand or not. It was so much easy to understand that, okay, this student is getting 3 out of 5. That means he is getting this percentage, and he is doing he is getting this 1 mark is better than the previous exam. So this type of analysis auto calculated in there. So I just need to put the assessment result, then it was getting analyzed automatically. And personalized versus centralized assessment. You know what? The Teach for Bangladesh results and personal results are almost same, but centralized assessment was totally different. There was a traditional documentary process, and I have to do result card. I have to keep result in documentary way. Yeah, it was so much tough for me because I have to do 140 students assessment result in hand, so there may be a chance for mistake. I have to use whitener, and I had a really bad experience about centralized assessment system and centralized data management system too. And I think as the world is digitalized, and we or Central should also use Google spreadsheet or Google Excel sheet, and it is better for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. I'm glad you brought up sheets and Excel, Janet. I think it is a very, very helpful, if not crucial, skills to have for us as educators. I mean, to even track the growth of learning for our kids, like Janet said, we can see whether there's improvement or that there's change, whether there's a decline or increase in our students' learning. We can track that with percentages. We can track that with Excel, and we can track that with Sheets, Google Sheets, because there are formulas involved. There are formulas that we can set and automate for our tracking. And as simple as using Google Sheets as for data management, automate everything that we need to see, and we can transfer data into visual cues like graphs like charts and all that. I'm still learning myself, but I always feel like there's always something interesting and something new when I learn something new about Excel. And of course some formulas when I learn and I didn't really use it for a while, then I need to like refresh my memory a bit. But so far, there's a lot of advantages using Sheets or Excel in our life, especially for tracking growth and tracking learnings. Maybe you guys also have other thoughts or other tools that you have that you can share in the chat. Right. In the interest of time, we will skip our third breakout, which is to share about classroom stories. We will do that later. So thank you. I really thank you guys for sharing all the stories that you have on assessment, on data management, the stories in the classroom, on how you manage data and all that, what you're taught about assessment. Those are very, very helpful insights that we have tonight. So we'll skip the third conversation. I'll just share with you guys our 8th GTC session will happen in a month. I know this is so far away, but I need to let you guys know that I will be traveling in a bit. So a lot of my weekends are occupied with events and programs. So the next GCC session will happen on the 17th of September. The 17th of December. Same time, same place, but only a little bit further in the future. Okay. So share your reflection and connect with us. You can share your reflection on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you can tag us a Global Teacher Conversation. You can share your reflection with us as well on tiny.1/GTC22, or you can scan the QR code here. All right, let's take photos, everyone. Like, up. Janet, if you can for a while. Yay! See you, KK. All right, let's take pictures. Smile, 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, everybody. Wait, before I end, I'd just like to remind you guys that the next session is on December 17th. So love to see you guys again, Janet Johnson. Perhaps we can meet other friends as well. I know everyone's just busy with weddings and all that and traveling and holidays, but we do what we can do. Okay. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend ahead. See you when I see you, December 17th. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.